Here we are with No Border Sports, coming live at you with some 49ers Green Bay talk. We've got our guest, Suneil. He's been back after a long hiatus. We're very pleased to have him tonight. And we've got our old accomplice, Randon, with us on a new platform. So, and Waruna, I'll let you handle the rest of it. So, Suneil.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back
little,
on the channel. Thank you for
right?
inviting me back. It's been great. I missed your glasses. I'm digging the beard, man. Everything looks great on you. You wear it well, my friend.
Thank you. And Randon, how's your week been going?
Not too bad, man. It's been pretty good. Just doing some different things. I was on a couple other shows during the week, and working today, getting ready for the game tomorrow. It'll probably just be a chill day. It's a little bit chilly here, not as cold as Green Bay, I'm sure, but so it might just be a stay in and watch the game instead of going out and embarrassing all those Cowboy fans like I did last week.
Gotcha.
I love it.
Warren, how's your day been going?
It's been great. I would say it's been great, but they used to be shitty, but again came back to normal.
Well, good.
I love it, man.
So finally we are good. So I think we can start. It's been kind of crazy because the reason is 49ers are the only team that is remaining from the wildcard teams, because all the other 7 teams are the teams that won their respective divisions. And last week we proved that Dallas are just fraud. That's it. So here we are, ready for the big weekend. So we have a lot of topics to cover. So let's jump right into it. Our first topic. I know there's still the fact Jimmy Garoppolo is your quarterback. Today I saw in one podcast, they are calling that Jimmy supporters, the things that they are saying, it's like GAnon. I'm not going to jump into that. But having said that, I want to focus about the team overall. Has the 49ers reached their maximum ceiling in this season? Because I'm asking this question. Compared to 2019, do you think this team is better than 2019, or still there is some potential that 49ers have not unlocked to move forward? Suneil, why don't you start?
Yeah, I don't think that this team has reached their ceiling, because I think the Green Bay game is definitely winnable. I mean, you talk about what these teams matched up week 3, and the 49ers only lost by a last-second field goal, due to, Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers. And if you compare this version, or week 3 version of the 49ers, to what they are right now, this team is so much better than week 3. So if they were playing the Green Bay Packers that close, earlier in the season, where this team was still trying to figure out who they were and how they were going to play, and now they're, I would say, so much more better, than before. Yeah, this team could definitely beat, the Packers. And then, who knows who comes out of the Tampa Bay Rams game. If it's Rams, then it's a home game. And so you got home games back to back, NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be the toughest test, probably till the Super Bowl. So, and I do think that they could beat the Green Bay Packers. So definitely not the ceiling.
So Randon, now Swan Song here, one of our friends, he says that this team on paper is better than 2019 team. Do you agree? Because I know one argument that always comes up with is DeFrost Buckner. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I think you can make arguments either way. And with D'Amico Ryans has said that Armstead has really come to his own when they finally put him in the inside. Now, if you remember when they drafted both Buckner and Armstead, they were drafted in the 3-4 defense, and we've moved to the 4-3. So when they moved him inside, his weight's fluctuated quite a bit. And now he's really come into his own and has really been a factor in the second half of the season, where in the beginning you were wondering if he was going to earn his paycheck. I think there's a lot. I think the secondary was better in 2019. I think there's maybe the overall pass rush was better as well. Linebacking core is better this year. So you can make positives and negatives in that point. I think Debo's being utilized in a way different way than that season. And so, I mean, you can make arguments in both ways. And, I'm not really a fan of comparing 2019. I think people overuse that. I know that's the last time we went to the Super Bowl. But, you're looking at this season, and as cliche it is once you get to the dance, that's all you need. And depending on matchups, you can win games. And we match up well with the Cowboys. We match up well with the Packers. We'll get into that. And if the Rams win, we've beaten them twice. Like the road is a lot easier than people think because of how the teams match up. So, have they reached their ceiling? No. I mean, we're winning game. The last 2 games we won. Jimmy G was playing like bad Jimmy G. If he plays like the middle half of the season where he's not committing turnovers, this Packer game gets a whole lot easier and the whole team doesn't have to, quote unquote, carry him. But I think this team can play against any team left over in this, in this field.
So Ryan, I'm coming to you with the added question. Other than Jimmy Garoppolo, do you see any department or player in particular that you think can do better to help the team win against Packers?
It's got to be our secondary. They have to all be on the same page. They have to all sell out to the game plan, and they need to follow it to the T. Hopefully, it's the right game plan. Yeah, I mean, so much comes around game plan. And when you're talking about going up against Lazard and Adams, I mean, you need a good game plan or it's not going to help with that defensive line if he's able to throw short passes, if he's able to hang in the pocket and throw long passes. So to give the D line some chance to make some plays for you, they're going to have to figure out how to cut it off short and then be able to maintain through those long routes that they're going to end up throwing. Can't remember what it is. They love that the outside post or whatever. They just throw it. I can't remember how many times. I'm guessing they also like to go deep no matter what, one time a quarter. Remember that. I seen that on the Pat McAfee show. Aaron Rodgers said that himself. It's not a specific time, but every quarter they're trying to dial up a deep bomb just to keep everybody honest, which we should almost be doing, but we don't.
Yes. So about this team, so do you think that when compared to what we did in the 2019 game, we were able to hide Jimmy's deficiencies in the Vikings game, again in the playoffs, again in the Packers game? Do we still have that strength to go through the same mechanics or same level of process, hide Jimmy Garoppolo's deficiencies and move forward?
Not only do we have the ability to do that, or do the 49ers have the ability to do that, I think it's the most advantageous thing to do to beat the Packers. So not even take Jimmy Garoppolo out, okay? Put in somebody else, okay? Anybody. It's going to be more advantageous to run the clock out, maintain possession of the ball for the most amount of time, you know what I'm saying, and keep the ball out of his hand and let your defense smother them. And just keep consistently running the ball and draining the clock. It's the best thing to do against Aaron Rodgers, I'd say. It takes him off the field. If you can stop him from being able to give Devontae Adams 100 yards and keep Lazard to less than 50, and you don't let them run the ball, that's game over. That's game over as long as you can run the ball enough to keep them off the field.
Yeah, and I mean, to go back to what you asked earlier, Waruna, to Ryan, Ryan picked the secondary, but I really don't look at the secondary as the grouping that really needs to step up this game. I look at the offensive line and what people, we only lost to Green Bay by 2 points in week 3. What people probably don't remember is in that game, the 49ers only rushed for like 62 yards or something like that. So to only lose to a team like Green Bay and to have, Aaron Rodgers, their whole team was healthy. I think this offensive line is what needs to step up, and namely, Alex Mack. A lot of people may not remember, but Alex Mack's playing a lot better now. But in the beginning of the year, he was looking like an old man. Everybody was talking about his perspiration issues. Like he was like the laughing stock and everybody was like, this was a horrible play. We should have gone for Corey Linsley, all that kind of stuff. Now coming into now, Alex Mack is one of the the stronger points of our offensive line. He's been pancaking people. We've been able to run a lot more. In that game in week 3, Mitchell was out. Remember, it was Sermon that was playing. And that was his, when he was still in the doghouse with Shanahan. So he wasn't getting all the run and all that kind of stuff. So we really had no rushing attack that game, and we only lost by 2 points. So I really think, like Ryan was mentioning at the end of his answer, this rushing attack is going to be what changes this game. And the more that run game could beat up the defense, the more that run game can keep Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's going to get his points. But if we could dictate our game on the offensive side, that defense just can't hang. Because even in week 3, they were letting Jimmy Garoppolo score up and down in that second half. And that was without a running game. Just imagine what could happen if, our rushing attack with Debo and Mitchell is the way that it's been, the last few weeks.
Green Bay is
to piggyback on that. Zadarius Smith is going to be back. He's one of the premier pass rushers in the league, for the Packers. And so, that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. So the offensive line there, you're right with the Mitchell not being in that game. And we'll get into the defensive metrics for the Packers later on, but I think the offensive line, that unit, and then the defensive line, I think just in the trenches in general, because you look in that game, Rodgers, when he doesn't get pressured, he's 21 touchdowns, no interceptions. His passer rating is like 121, and he was getting the ball out before 2.5 seconds. So quick pressures are any pressure before 2.5 seconds. We had 28% of our pressures against the Cowboys were quick pressures. So we have to get there early and often, and we didn't do that against a banged up offensive line in week 3. Our defensive line is humming at a lot greater pace. It's not just Bosa like it was earlier in the season. And if we can get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, it's going to and allow our running game to blossom, it's going to be a lot easier chance for us to get the W.
So, Randon, I'm coming to you with the next topic on this. Why do you think 49ers will win this game? And I want to throw one stat at you before you answer the question. Now, most of us believe that one reason would be that if we are able to control the clock, but during the season, the average time of the possession, Green Bay Packers lead the league 34 minutes per game, excluding overtime. 49ers are at 12th place. They are like 32 minutes per game. There is no much difference, but I'm just throwing that random stat at you and ask, okay, why do you think 49ers are going to win this game?
Yeah, I think this answer that I'm going to give it kind of throws it all in together. And so if you're looking at Green Bay and their stats when it comes to the turnover ratio, they're third in the league in the regular season at plus 13, and the main reason for that is that Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw very many interceptions, and so the time of possession is usually a lot greater because of that. They've had 2 running backs step up this year in Dillon and Jones, both a legit 1-2 punch. And so they've had a good job at controlling the clock. But what the Niners need to do and how they're supposed to win this game is by exposing what is bad for the Packers, which is their run defense. So if you look at the basic stats, like yards per game, they're near the top in like 10th place or so. But in EPA and all the advanced stats, the advanced metrics, they're bottom 5 in almost every single one on EPA per play, EPA success rate, big bang plays, like plays over 20 yards and everything like that. Like they've given up the most of those all season long with the run game. And so how we do that is controlling the clock. We run the football, we stay our game. We try to play turnover free football and really keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. And I think that's the recipe for success in this game.
Suneil?
Yeah, I mean, I think he said everything properly. The Kyle Shanahan, for whatever reason, plays Green Bay very, very well. Even when in the first season that Shanahan was there in 2017 when they played, and it was forget who the quarterback was, but Green Bay only won by like 1 point or last second thing. It wasn't and then this year when they won. They won by a last second field goal. The only time it was like non-competitive where Green Bay won was the pandemic game, right? Where everybody was out with COVID. But
Yes.
if the 49ers have, a starting caliber quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo is, they're usually very, very strong in these games. We've seen what they're able to do, in 2019. And I don't know if you guys remember in week 3 when Aaron Rodgers, when they ended up beating the 49ers, the amount of elation and just happiness that he had on his face and the excitement he had on the sideline. Think about that. It's a week 3 game. And he was just so happy because 49ers are in his head. Like he respects the 49ers pass rush. He respects Fred Warner. He respects, Shanahan, and he's seen what this team is able to do. And, Aaron Rodgers, for however, everybody has their opinions on him. He's a really cerebral player. He understands the game, not, unlike, many people do, especially at his position. And he realizes how great the 49ers are. So I think they're going into this game, really, knowing that, this is going to be a tough out for them either way, right? And so I think that the 49ers just need to be the 49ers, that play that rushing game, play strong in the trenches, and just don't get overwhelmed. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's going to get his. So just keep playing the game that you know how to play. And we've always been able to play it close and, more times than not come out on top. So I think that this could be a very, very solid victory as long as the 49ers just don't, beat themselves, basically.
So, Ryan, what do you think?
I don't know if there's really much more to be said.
No, you have to say something. Why do you think 49ers are going to win this game?
Okay, so I think the 49ers won't win this game if Kyle Shanahan just puts the ball in Jimmy's hands and we run less than...
That I will come to next, in the next
Okay.
segment.
So I thought you said that's what you're asking me.
Why do you think, no. Why will the 49ers win? Why will the 49ers win the game?
Man, so I just think the recipe to success is running the ball on offense, run the ball. I heard Grant Cohn talk today. Shout out to Grant Cohn. He said give Debo 15 targets, or not 15 targets, but 15 handoffs. And I think that is a very good idea. I think that is smart. I guess Debo on handoff scores a touchdown every like 7.4 touches. You know what I mean? So 15 carries, there you go. Boom. You should get 2 touchdowns out of that. You know what I mean? That's, and it's not as easy as that. But obviously, if you look at what happened the other day when he said, give me the ball, not only does he have the confidence, but he got George Kittle, who's taking out 3 guys in one block on that play to bust open the inside hole for him. Like that's why he was able to cut back. Kittle took 3 guys out by using 1 guy as a block. So, yeah, I mean, that's the key to success in our defense. We got to get home. And we got to cover Devontae Adams. We need to double cover him, okay? Man needs to be double covered. We don't need to double cover everybody else, but Adams needs to be double covered, and you kind of need to be tight on him. It's not that he's necessarily fast. He's really good at getting open in certain windows. So if you have 2 guys around him in a close area, Aaron Rodgers won't want to throw that ball downfield because if they're close enough, they'll be able to take a better trajectory on the ball and maybe pick it off. So that'll just stop him from going to him. And if it's late, if he's trying to go down the field with him, what progressions are left in his route? You know what I'm saying? What progression is left? So
yeah,
I think
fun fact to kind of leapfrog off of what Ryan was saying. So
Yeah.
this year, Davante Adams has been held to under 60 yards receiving only 4 times, and they've lost 3 of those games. The only game that they won was against Baltimore, and they won that game, or the Baltimore won that game by 1 point. On the flip side, and I think we're going to talk about this. I don't know if we're talking about this in the future, but Brandon Ayuk had at least 60 yards receiving 8 times this season. They're 7-1 in those games. So, the rushing attack obviously is going to be key factor, but getting Ayuk the ball just as much as we focus on getting Debo the ball leads to good things for the 49ers as well. So those are like 2 key factors that I want to pay attention to this game.
And what you could do, Suneil, is since, everybody's looking for Debo to go in motion for the sweep, do it with Ayuk. Right. He's not the strongest one, but it's a way to get him the ball in a dynamic situation, which he's dynamic, not as dynamic as other, but he's dynamic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and you're running the ball, keeping the clock running. Now they also got to watch out for Ayuk running the sweeps. You know what I'm saying? Just another fuck me moment. You know what I
mean? Yep.
Okay. So let's move on to the next topic, the other side of the coin. So if 49ers are to lose, what do you think it will happen? How can we mess up this game? Brandon, I want you to start. You talked about linebackers. They are strengthening up. So they might take the middle out between the hashes. That will complicate Jimmy Garoppolo's job. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with the record speaks for itself this year. I believe he's 2-6 when committing a turnover, and so it makes it harder on our team. And then you look at the games that we should have, stomped them out, like the Titans game. That team got the Madden double up. It was a touchdown, turnover, touchdown, and so we just need to keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands to a respective degree. Like Suneil said earlier, he's going to get his. He's arguably the best quarterback, pure thrower in the game. Definitely now, if not all time. And so you're looking at a guy who's going to get his. It has the mind meld with Davante Adams. If that corner is 1 yard too deep, they're going to run a little curl route, get 7 and move on. If he's too shallow and he's one-on-one, they're going to throw it down the field. And so for me, it's just limiting the amount of mistakes that we have. And then I think there's been some moments in Shanahan's career with time management late in games where it's put more pressure on the team than necessary. And so you could be in a situation where, just as the Niners have this year, I think they have 10 one-score games. So, they've been in a lot of close games. And when you're in that close of a game, a fumble here, a bad timeout, or a wrong play call, a non-third down conversion, or not having enough cojones to go for it on 4th and 1, when it's almost a 60% success rate, that might be something damaging for them at that point. And then, the stats that I said earlier with Aaron Rodgers when he's not under pressure, right? 121 passer rating, 21 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he's only had 4 interceptions all season. And so you're looking at, if we can't make it happen, I'm not necessarily talking about turnovers, just making it harder for him to consistently compete as a quarterback. It's going to be a long day for the Niners at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be really about keeping it close in the first half, right? Because the second half, 49ers seem to make really great adjustments, and just they tend to dominate second halves against whomever they're playing. But if they are down big come first half, it's going to be tough to catch up to Green Bay, especially. I don't know I haven't looked at what the forecast is at Lambeau, but if it is one of those colder games, maybe you're not going to be able to throw the ball down the field as much. So I think keeping it close at halftime is going to be a key stat that we look at. If Green Bay is up by like 2-3 scores at halftime, they're probably gonna run away with the game when all said and done. So I'm looking at that. The second thing I'm looking at is, their ability. If the 49ers lose this game, it's because they couldn't run the ball like they couldn't in week 3. it's because the offensive line didn't do their job. The Green Bay's defensive line, Zadarius coming back. I don't think he was in that game against the 49ers week 3. Their inside linemen really ate up, Brunskill and Alex Mack week 3. So if that happens again, Green Bay probably gets another victory because we're talking a lot about turnovers. Reality is Green Bay doesn't turn over the ball. So more than likely they're going to have the turnover edge or it's going to be a push. So it's really about all the other facets of the game. They can't, anything else drops after that, Green Bay's probably winning the game.
So Suneil, I want to quickly ask another question about something you said. 49ers were able to come back from the behind for a victory to make the playoffs in week 17, and even in the week 3 game, we had, I think, 17-0. We were falling behind, but we came back, had the lead until that last 37 seconds meltdown. Mm-hmm. So are you worried that we can't do it again? For some reason, we fall behind by 2 scores, especially in Green Bay, playing at their home base. You think it's too hard to come back?
I mean, it's obviously possible. They've shown that it can. I don't want to keep risking fate, though. At a certain point, it's like, how hard can we make the victory? Seems to be what like the 49ers try to do. Is like, how could we win the hardest way? So at the end of the game, we have this story about all this stuff. No, let's just make this an easy victory, just like 2019's NFC Championship game, where Jimmy doesn't have to throw the ball more than 8 times. And, obviously Raheem Mostert isn't there, but, Mitchell and Debo just dominate on the rushing attack. And I'll be cool with a very boring, dominant game by the 49ers in this one. And then we could have all the theatrics for the 2 home games after that, hopefully.
Yeah, if you take the Jordan Love game out of the season for the Packers, they lead the league in turnover differential. So you're talking, plus 16 at that point. And like that's just, and right now, Niners have a negative turnover differential. And so Neil's perfectly right. Well, the chances are we probably don't win the turnover battle in this game. Now, granted, our fumble luck hasn't been great. We're bottom 5 in the league in recovering fumbles. And so maybe if that comes up and we get some more luck in this game, anything can happen. But if going based off of, what's happened in the whole season, we're going to have to be good everywhere else. And when we got back in that game is turnovers, right? Rams turned the ball over twice in that game, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen in Green Bay. So you almost have to play perfectly elsewhere, as Suneil said.
So, Ryan, what do you think? Where can we lose this game?
We got to stop giving Ryan the third chance. He's over here like struggling to say something different.
No, we're good, bro. No. You guys are guests. So I'd rather have you talking than me talking.
He's the co-host, so he has to step up. So
no problem.
I'm challenging
you. But Bruno runs a tight ship over here, man. He's like,
if you want to work with me, so you need to step up your game. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, we just asked these guests to come on a couple days ago. You've had all week to prepare, Ryan. Come on, man.
All right. So obviously, if Jimmy is, if they're moving the ball through Jimmy's hands, the higher chances of getting an interception or a lazy ass fumble is going to happen. If they give Aaron Rodgers too much time, if they're putting single coverage on Devontae Adams, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that everybody just discussed it. It's really simple. The Niners can't suck. Kyle needs to call a good game, okay? And when I say Niners, I mean Jimmy G. Everybody else can make a mistake here and there because they've done a great job all year long and they're awarded one. Jimmy's used up his and everybody else is on the team already. Okay? So that's how I sit. I mean, if Kyle and Jimmy could just do their jobs and hand the fucking ball off, it'd be perfect. I'm just saying, just do your job, hand the ball off.
And look, week 3, I don't know if you guys remember, D'Amico Ryan's probably had his worst game in the in the year. So I think that he's got a way better play caller now. He's done great things with, the mishmash of, with the injuries and stuff like that. So this is a much different team coming in this game. And I mean, Green Bay is going to be different as well, but the 49ers are leaps and bounds better than they were week 3.
So I also want to add this. Kyle, we will lose if you don't let DeMeco Ryans call a fucking timeout when he feels that the game is on the line. I don't care how many times. If you only got one timeout left and he thinks he's going to lose the game on this next play, it doesn't matter how much time's left in the game. You need to worry about the next play. The other ones don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Let him call the fucking timeout, get the coverage right. No lose the game on a 3-point field goal just because you gave up a pass because you didn't want to call a timeout. I don't know if you guys had heard about that, but Solid talked about a time where in his first year where he called a timeout. Kyle fucking raped him through the coals over that. Yeah, no, screw you. That's the reason why he's in that position, Kyle. He's the one in charge of that. If things aren't right, he needs to fix them. That's his job. I don't care about your timeouts.
Yes.
I think when you're looking at it,
sorry.
Go ahead. No, I think in the
now Ryan is worked up and he called Kyle Shanahan directly. See what I did?
Yeah, it was all Varuna. Varuna's the puppet master right now. Varuna's got our strings all over.
Varuna, you figure out how to clip things yet? Let's put that one out on Twitter. Kyle, don't be a cunt.
Yep, and there goes your YouTube channel.
We're not trying to monetize. We're not worried about ads.
So Randon was going to say something.
No BS.
I think that's one thing to look at with DeMeco Ryans, though, in this game is he traditionally calls man coverage on third down. Doesn't really try to disguise it with that mind meld. And you know that if Aaron Rodgers walks up to and sees a mismatch on the field in man coverage, it's going to be over on that part. You look at, we've gotten burnt on the slot fade continuously this season in the Cowboys game, in the Packers game itself, in the Rams game in week 18 out of the slot. And so with that being one of the faster throws in the game, not allowing the defensive line to get home, I'm kind of hoping against more of an established quarterback, not that Aaron Rodgers hasn't seen everything, maybe disguise more of the coverages on third down because they seem to just run too high man without any disguises and stuff like that. And whether it be a stunt on the defensive line or shaking it up a little bit, I think DeMeco's going to have to pull out more of his bag in this game to be successful.
And I think he's got upgrades in players from week 3, right? I think Ambry Thomas is much better in man than Josh Norman at his age right now is. And also MVS is, I think, doubtful for the game. And he is doubtful. Behind Devontae Adams, that's his number one option. So with him out of the game, that, Lazard didn't have that great of a game. And I think he's still a great receiver, but he's easier for what the 49ers have in the secondary to defend than MVS is. So I think that's, a feather in the cap or good luck for the 49ers as far as MVS not being there. So it's going to be interesting. I think this is a game where Ambry could really show out. Hopefully he is playing. Hopefully he's, healthy, because this is why he got drafted, third round, was to be able to be there during games like this, step up against, great receivers like Adams, and he's going to get his chance to really show what he's made of when it's all said and done.
Yes. So before we move on to the next topic, just want to give a quick shout out to our chat. Swan Song, Basha, 49er Minded. So let's quickly answer Amin's question. I want you guys to pick this game, Bills or Chiefs.
Bills are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'll give Ryan the chance. Yes.
So I want the Bills because fuck the Chiefs. But also, I think the Bills are more dynamic as a whole team than essentially the Chiefs are. I kind of like watching their offense more than I do the Chiefs. And I think I like their defense. But on any given day, either team can be the most dominant team in the league. It just who shows up that day. I think the Bills. I think it seems like with how dominant they were against the Patriots, like they were getting the monkey off their back, right? Well, you're the Chiefs next. You're the next biggest fucking monkey. You know what I'm saying? I'd be worried because they were not hesitant in that last game to steamroll. So I feel that there might be another steamrolling coming.
Yeah, I agree. I got Buffalo all the way to the Super Bowl. I got Cincinnati winning as well. I think it's going to be Buffalo Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game, and I think that'll be a fun game. But yeah, I got the Bills going all the way through. I just think, just like Ryan said, man, they're very well rounded. And one thing that they didn't have earlier in the season that they seem to have gained, in the end of the season and in the playoffs is a rushing attack. It used to be just, Josh Allen throwing the ball 50, 60 times. Now, Singletary's, getting some yards on the ground, and that just makes them even more dangerous on offense. And, their defense, their safety play is amazing. They got great corners and, strong defensive lines. So they're just on paper, I think the most well-rounded team that's left in the league, or left in the playoffs right now, I'd say.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I say Bills. I think the fact that the Chiefs are slowing down a little bit. I mean, Kelsey is I don't think was as dominant this year. I mean, granted, he's still the second overall tight end in the league as far as most stats. But when you look at, you have two guys on offense for the most part. Outside of Mahomes, where the Bills are, I think, a little bit more well-rounded team, and so that's kind of how I view it there.
Yes. So I even pick Bills. I like watching Allen play. He's a phenomenal athlete. So let's get to the next
topic. If anybody
topic.
wants to hear how much, so watch last episode. Waruna was gushing over.
True. So next topic. Will it be just Aaron Rodgers, or will it be just a combination of both? Rodgers Adams combination, as well as just handing off to Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. How do you think this game will go? Brandon, you can start.
I mean, it can go in any direction. I mean, there's two. You're looking at, he's definitely going to throw the football, but you have two running backs this year that had equal coverage there. I mean, AJ Dillon led the team in rushing with 803 yards, and Aaron Jones at 799. So just a little bit different there. Obviously, Jones missed the 2 games, but both running backs over 4.3 yards per carry. And so they're doing a good job. And the fact that, they've only had 1 fumble each all year. So you're looking at a situation where they do have 2 capable running backs. And we've seen it in the playoffs sometimes in that cold weather where you get a bigger back like Dillon, who is another quadzilla that can just, wear down those defenses. So, the number 1 rated rush defense for the Niners, the second half of the season is definitely going to have to step up. And anytime even though Aaron Rodgers is their best dimension, anytime you can make a team one-dimensional, you can scheme towards that dimension a little bit better. And so the key for the Niners is going to be rushing 4 and getting being effective, stopping the run with 4, rushing with 4, and so that way we can disguise those coverages. And so I don't foresee the fact, Aaron Rodgers could throw 50 times a game, but they also have the rushing attack to use it. It's just going to be up to the Niners. I mean, you look at a big difference between week 3 and now is in the beginning of the year, we were getting gashed up the middle, left and right. Our linebackers are over pursuing. They seem to be doing a better job there. Eric Armstead moving to the center has given more stability. And so it's going to be something to look at, like how much, one-dimensional are we going to make that team? And then if Aaron Jones, he's not, Dillon's not a bad pass catcher, but Aaron Jones is a lot better pass catcher out of the backfield. And so if he's 100% healthy and going and can do all the things that he normally can do, he can still be effective, in a different aspect.
So Suneil, I'm coming to you with a slight of an added question over here. Now I think today it was confirmed that Bosa is ready to go. Fred Warner will play. How much it is important that those 2 players are playing in this game? Do you think that will have an impact on how Green Bay is going to plan their game?
That's a layup, right? Like those are the two best players on our defense. Of course, they're gonna change up the game plan with Bosa there and Fred Warner. But yeah, I mean, I think, to kind of tie it all in, I think Bosa only can be, can really eat if we make them a very one-dimensional team, like Randon was saying, right? We have to get, and, usually if Aaron Rodgers is the only one, with the ball, if the running game isn't being utilized, more than likely that's because the 49ers either have a very big lead or they're stopping the run. So both of those things bode very, very well for the 49ers. If we could get into a position where Aaron Rodgers has to drop back and pass because they're trying to, keep up with how the 49ers are doing, or they're not getting as many opportunities because the 49ers are dominating the ball. Yes. Both of those things bode very, very well for the 49ers. So if they are very balanced, I think that's a bad sign. That means the 49ers are probably, struggling on defense. So let's just say yes, it's going to be all Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. So I'm coming to you, Ryan, with another question.
Okay.
Week 3, we saw Robert Tonyan, their tight end, used to cover Nick Bosa. I mean, basically, just to chip Nick Bosa, just give that enough, like half a second, for Aaron Rodgers to get connected with Adams or whoever available. Do you think that they can do it again and letting Bosa or whatever the Armstead, any other rushers coming at Rodgers and letting Aaron Rodgers play his game, just letting Rodgers cook?
So Bosa was never your speed guy anyways. Okay. So Bosa's just your anvil. Okay. The other guy's the hammer. He smashes, he moves them towards the anvil. The anvil is the hard play. Okay, so other people get home now. So, okay, you're going to chip Bosa on the edge. When Bosa left the game, they still had a 47% pressure rate, I believe. Yes. So even with Bosa off the field, Dallas, who has a very good offensive line, you know what I'm saying? They're big boys. They can move people. There's a lot of rush yards behind them boys this year. They can't deal with the speed of the Niners. It wasn't about the size. It wasn't about the strength. It's about the speed of the Niners on the line. So when it comes to it, is chipping Bosa going to be the thing that breaks the back? No, because everybody else is getting home. Week 3, not everybody was eating. Now everybody on the line. You know what I'm saying? Eric Armstead's doing an amazing job. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. I don't think he's being talked about enough. I think he's doing a great job. DJ Jones is handling his business. I'm telling you, I love that man. That man is scary quick for as big he is. I mean, put him in at linebacker. You want to see some running backs to get scared? Imagine trying to go through a hole and have that man plugging it. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm calling in sick that weekend. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things going on now as far as that defensive line that I don't think chipping Bosa is going to do much. Bosa's been double teamed throughout the whole, I think, number 1 most double teamed defensive lineman in the league, right? I think that was the stat. So that's how we eat. That's how we eat.
Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. So I'll give you the chance first. How many turnovers can we afford? Because it's highly likely that we are going to give up 1 or 2 turnovers. But what is the safety margin? That, okay, if we give only 1, still we can come back. So where do you think? Okay, well, let me ask you like this. Since you talked to Kyle Shanahan earlier, now talk to Jimmy Garoppolo and say, Jimmy, you don't fuck this up. Only 1 turnover per game. Okay, I need you to ask.
Okay, now, this is the other thing too. Late turnovers screw us because the defense has been working hard all game, and then they're asked to go out there again, and then those can usually result in points. I mean, those first half turnovers, they don't normally come at points. And if they do, it's just a field goal. So, Jimmy, if you're going to give up a damn interception or a stupid fumble, please fucking do it in the first half. Please. Okay?
Okay.
Don't be a shithead.
So, Jimmy, you heard Ryan. So, Randon, I'm coming to you. So, now it's your chance to talk to Jimmy.
Is it me?
Yes. So, you can talk to
Sorry.
Jimmy.
I thought you said Ryan again. I was like, well, he was on a roll. If you want to let him go twice, that's fine.
I can give you more.
for me, it's like, why talk about the negative? Just Jimmy, go out there and play your game, man. Like, go out there and throw the football, because I don't want him to be scared. Like, I don't want him to be scared. In the last game, the pick to Jair Alexander was a touchdown the year before. That same exact play was a touchdown. Jair Alexander went all the way across the field, and so he was running. I think it was he was supposed to be the deep zone in that part. There was no wide receiver covering or in his zone, and so he made the adjustment and went over there all the way across the field and made that play, which is a better play by Jair Alexander versus a bad throw from Jimmy, in my opinion. And so, the big thing is, Alex Mack had a fumble and Jimmy had a fumble in that game as well. One of them we recovered. So there was 2 turnovers in that first game in week 3. So for me, it's like, just let Jimmy do his thing. Like, why are we worried about turnovers? We can only control what we can. And if he's playing scared by not trying to win and he's just playing not to lose, we're going to lose this game, because there's plenty of times in games, and especially in the first half of the Dallas game, that throw to Jennings on a dime, right? You had all these kind of things that helped move drives along. And, I don't like bringing up 2019, but 2019, first in the league in fourth quarter comebacks, that comes from making good throws. That comes from doing those types of things. And if you're afraid to turn the ball over, then you're not playing to the best of your ability. If the turnovers happen, then they're going to happen, right? I mean, it is what it is. It's a part of the game, but we can't run the ball 50 times a game. Jimmy's going to have to make plays. And if he's too scared to make plays, which I don't think
Why can't we run the ball 50 times a game?
Because that's not, I mean, we'd have to get like 2 or 3 turnovers in the beginning part of the game to be up that much to be worth it. Aaron Rodgers is not going to allow it to happen.
What do you mean?
Because we haven't ran 50 times a game all year, so we're not going to do it this time in this game.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that we can't. That doesn't mean nothing's physically stopping us.
Well, it's not the offense anymore, right? So this is a more balanced offense at this point. Like I said, in this 7-1, like the 49ers are 7-1 when Brandon Ayuk gets at least 60 yards passing, 60 yards receiving. Jennings is a weapon now. Obviously, Debo with the dual threat now at triple threat, because he throws a very good ball as well as quarterback. So, it's not. It'd be completely. It kind of what's it called? Playing on one leg for the 49ers to not utilize that. I think when it comes to turnovers, is not only the amount, Bruno, to answer your question directly, it's going to be how bad it puts the defense in a bind, right? So if they're turning the ball over on their side of the ball, and then it gives Aaron Rodgers a short field, it's going to be very difficult for the 49ers defense to maintain, because one thing that the 49ers defense do, they're very good at bending and not breaking. A lot of these turnovers aren't turning into touchdowns. They're turning into field goals, which still gives them a chance to win the game. So I think it's more about just if the turnovers happen, just not putting the defense in a bad situation, right? I don't mind there being a few turnovers here, because Jimmy's trying to make a play, right? Especially if it's a down the field pass, all that kind of stuff, because all that does is going to make the defense, for Green Bay, have to think about something else. So I don't want it to be where it's just take the ball out of Jimmy's hand 100%, because then it makes the defense extremely, it makes us one dimensional, and that's easier for defenses to play against. So I mean, I don't know how many turnovers it can be. Really depends on what the defense does against Aaron Rodgers, and if they can, one thing about our defense is they've gotten a lot better at turning over the ball as well, right? Second half of the season, turnover differential is much different than the first half of the season, which is why overall our numbers are down. But if you look at the second half of the season, a lot of fumbles, a lot of interceptions are happening on the defense. So we'll see. To be determined.
Yes. So This is kind of a topic, I would say, just a guess. But what I wanted to bring up this is now one of the reasons 49ers are doing well this season is that when it mattered, they didn't care whether they are playing down by 2 scores or whether they are playing in a away stadium. This always came through. So do you think crowd will going to help us in this game? Because we saw what happened during the Rams game, how crowd changed it, because Kelly Stafford, Matthew Stafford's wife, she was talking about how Matthew Stafford had to go on a silent count. She said that was the first time she saw in his career that the home quarterback had to do that. So do you think that crowd can make that cold Green Bay make it a bit warmer to the 49ers?
I'll go first.
Brandon, you go
Randon.
first. Yes.
Huh?
Okay,
You go
I'll
ahead,
go.
Brandon.
Okay, go ahead, Randon.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I don't think so. I think this will be the first true away game that we have. I mean, they have usually pretty good at keeping it all Green Bay. Green Bay's only undefeated team at home on the season. And so I think that it's going to be a little bit harder. You look at SoFi, pretty much every away team has at least a 40 to 60% share of fans that come in there. Cowboys fans, that stadium's so massive, so you can get a lot of tickets in there. And so I just think it's gonna be different. And then both those stadiums are indoors. I mean, the weather. So, people, as far as, is it a destination type game? Well, maybe for like a real football fan, but like a diehard who doesn't care and just wants to go and pack it on. But like, hey, let's go to LA and like, let's go sit indoors, or let's go to Dallas and go sit indoors. Like the situation is going to be a lot better. And, I'm looking at the weather right now. It's going to be roughly 10 degrees without wind chill at kickoff. And so, I know me personally, if I was thinking about a game to go to, it would have been, I know I live in Texas, but if for normal fans in California want to go that game, it'd be Dallas. Like the first game would have been a lot more appealing than going to Green Bay. And so I think maybe, I don't think it's gonna be 100% because I know fans that are going, Niners fans, but it's not going to be 50-50 like it was in Rams. It's that, I think we had about 40% in Dallas. It's not going to be that. So I think it's going to be our first true away game on the season or on the playoffs.
Yeah, let's be real. Rams don't have real fans. Cowboys don't have real fans. The Packers, they have some real fans. And what I mean by the Cowboys don't have real fans, they have bandwagon jumpers, man. They were just there because of what happened in the 90s and all that kind of stuff. Nobody can be a fan of that team, man. All you're going to get is heartbreak year after year after year after year, right? So, but Green Bay fans...
People still be buying a merch and they can't tell them, no, don't buy it anymore because they want to still seem like they're fans. So they keep buying them shit every Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, fuck, never ending circle.
Right. But as far as like Lambeau, that means something to them, right? Home field advantage, all that kind of stuff. You'll probably see some sprinkled red jerseys here and there, but it's going to be they're going to be the away team. They're going to have to go silent count. They're going to have to, adjust to having a home crowd there that's booing them and, all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to be by any stretch of the imagination pro 49er crowd.
Yes.
So we do better at away games, I believe. I remember 2019. Didn't we lost at home to the Seahawks. We beat the Seahawks
away game
at their house. You know what I mean? Like
we won at Saints. We won that Saints game.
That was a big game. You know what I mean? And that was a loud stadium, and that was not a 49er pack same. Yeah, we're not going to have as much of a footprint this game as we normally do. But I don't think that is as much of an issue as the cold would be. You know what I mean? I just think they might have to go silent count at certain times, unless they can really they could break the morale of the fans in the stands, the Green Bay Packers fans. Do you know how, Waruna, do you know how long it takes for someone to get season tickets for the Packers?
Years.
Like 37 years. Yeah.
Yes.
So they once you figure out you're having a kid, you put your kid up for the season tickets. So and there's no extra tickets when it comes to Green Bay games, home games. There's no extra tickets. You know what I'm
right
saying?
now, I'm on SeatGeek right now, and there's over 100 tickets available, and a lot cheaper than the Dallas game. Dallas game, they were in the 600, 700 range for upper deck, and 175, 200.
Because nobody's trying to sit in negative 10-degree wind chill, my dude. Like, that's what it is. People, it's much warmer at home. You get the big screen, you get the wings. You don't have to pay for food. You don't have to pay for parking, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's.
I got the beard for it.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
do.
I want to just
look like
on that note. I want to ask the last question real quick. The Arctic-like weather. What kind of a difference that would make? Is this the weather that finally going to break 49ers?
Look, I'll start because the weather, I know we're making a lot of jokes about it, but if Jimmy's bringing some injuries into it with his shoulder and his hand, the cold weather is going to play a big role because cold doesn't help with pain as far as joints and things like that. So if there are those type of injuries, then it's definitely going to be harder. The ball is going to be harder. It's going to be a little, more, I think it's going to be like heavier. You'll probably see some more drops because, the velocity is going to feel different than, in warm weather. So, I think the weather is going to play a role. Good thing about it is the 49ers are a run-first team. So that could, negate maybe how many throws they have to do. But to act like the weather isn't going to play a role is, I think, is being naive.
Hey, Raruna, what do you think that Jimmy Garoppolo learned the Deflategate game plan from Tom and might use it in this game?
I don't think he ever learned anything from Tom Brady.
Yo, he learned how to QB sneak. He learned how to QB sneak. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
he learned how to QB sneak.
That might be the only thing because because Jimmy Garoppolo is the editor of the weekly excuse. Tom Brady is totally opposite. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm saying.
So, well, Runa, we need to get like a CGI flame or something and a sound. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you say shit like that, you can just hit that and when just drop it, kill the room for a second, okay? Because
so I mean, Jimmy's played in the North in college. I mean, and throughout, and he played in New England. He said he played in negative 20-degree weather one game. Juszczyk went and played college in the North. I mean, it should not be an excuse. And so we want, like Suneil said, we want to run the football, and it's not going to be. I don't think should be an excuse in this game.
Only thing is injuries, right? Because the injuries, especially to the hand, that is going to how good is his grip going to be? How much is the pain? That's the only thing I'm talking about. As far as just it being cold, I mean, these guys have played football in this weather, all of them at one point or another. But as far as bringing injuries when it's cold, definitely you just tighten up. So there's more pain.
Can I speak to Jimmy real quick?
Please.
Yes, so you can actually wrap it up.
Jimmy, keep your purse in the locker room, okay? Wow. Don't worry about the cold and the finger, okay? Just keep the purse in the locker room and go out there and be a man. You know what I mean? Tape an aspirin to it. That's what my coach used to say. Tape an aspirin to it. And the first time he said that, I looked at him like, wait a second. That's not how you're supposed to. And then I realized he's just giving me some dumb bullshit excuse to tell me to just get back in the game. So this is the playoffs, Jimmy. Look, get that shit amputated or shut up. I'm just saying. Oh, okay. The other thing, little stat, I guess, supposedly people with bigger hands are better in the cold with throwing the ball. So, and Aaron Rodgers has very big hands. So.
But he also has COVID toe. So there you go.
I don't know any stats about the toes in cold weather.
Hey,
how does your toe get COVID? Would you cough on your toe or something? Sleep on that shit?
That's funny. That's a whole nother story, right?
We're not supposed to say that. We might get flagged. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that won't be the only thing you got flagged for.
For sure.
Maybe the C word's a little too much. I know we can say the F word and all that stuff, but we'll
Right.
figure it out. We're learning on the go, baby.
Hey, we're here to entertain the masses. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, we're not here for money and likes. We're here to have fun.
But make sure Amin goes to sleep like this.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to give you gentlemen one last, let's say 1 minute quick to wrap it up. What do you have to say finally about the game and everything, the season? Brandon, you can start, then Ryan can wrap up the show.
Yeah, I think the differences in this game for the Niners are going to be big. We've harped on it a little bit. The run game is going to be huge. You looked at the difference in the Cowboy game. We ran power schemes 35% of the time. Season average was 18. So Shanahan's going to have to pull out his tricks and do those little tweaks to different run plays that have already been put on tape. The stable of running backs is completely different. Like Suneil mentioned before, we're going to have Mitchell and Debo back there. And last game we had Sermon. And so it's going to be a completely different ball game as far as the running is concerned against that team. And so I think it's going to be up to Shanahan to dial the right plays. That first drive last game was just straight butter. I mean, only 1 second down the whole time. We got to come out and hit him in the mouth and not get behind early. And I think that's going to be what is going to set us apart to get the W.
Yeah, I think the keys to victory, the 49ers have to rush for upwards of 100 plus yards. If they're anywhere under 100, there's probably a very slim chance that they win. And I'm looking for Ambry Thomas to really show out this game. If he does play, I think this could be one of those games where 49er fans look at Ambry and be like, okay, we got our other guy, next to, Mosley and stuff like that. So I've been a big Ambry fan from the beginning. It was looking pretty rough there first half of the season for me. People were going at me. Now I'm still on the Ambry Thomas train. Let's go, Ambry. Show out MVP of this game.
Nice. Ryan, you can wrap it up.
So, yeah. Run the ball.
Okay.
I'd like to thank our guests tonight, Randon and Suneil, for coming in. Randon, please plug your socials.
Right now, I'm doing Random Commando 24 is my Twitter, and I do stuff for Hockey Royalty if you guys like hockey. And then every Wednesday, I'm on with Rob Shue for a show called Between Two Beards.
Nice.
And Suneil.
Suneil.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me at SoRealSuneil on Instagram and Twitter. My sports channel is So Real Sports Talk TV on YouTube. Please, like and subscribe there. Everybody in the comment section's already subscribed to my channel. So for everybody else that's watching, please go. You'll start seeing some more regular content there. And I just want to thank you guys, man. I'm glad to be on the show with you guys. Runa, Ryan, nice to meet, Randon. So, let's do this more often.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, you got
Nice
it.
to meet you too, my man.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for the chat again. Have a wonderful night.
You too.